Good morning and welcome to Sugar Melts. My name is Lori, and for today's card, oh my gosh, we're gonna do Z cards. We're gonna look at Z cards and the fancy fold, and we're gonna make one. So what I have been doing, I have been making Z cards like crazy. I actually have 10 different styles to show you. Oh my gosh, look at all these cards. Oh. And we'll go through what they look like, and then we're gonna make one. So the most straightforward Z-fold. So what this is what they call a Z-fold, because as you can see, it makes the shape of a Z. And so it's a fun fold because it's the same shape, or I'm sorry, same size as a regular card, but instead of just having the one fold line, you have a second one in the middle of the front panel. So that's what makes the Z. This is what most Z cards will look like. They'll just be straightforward with something on the panel that opens up. I'll tell you, the reason I usually, for a long time, didn't make Z cards was I didn't like that when I had my front panel, and people would always have their picture on this back frame, but you could see it through. So I just didn't really like that style. So I've been really careful to make sure that front sentiment or image or die cut really covers where your message goes. I think that makes a much cleaner and more professional look. So look at that as we go through the cards I made. So here's one example. Here's another one, very, very similar, so upside down. You can see it just, here's your seam and then your second fold. And I've got a nice big panel here, and it opens up and it covers exactly all of my message. This one's really easy because I've got my simple Z card here. I've got a matting and my base card, and then I just use really big die cuts, and that made the card come together really, really fast. Here's another example where I did it with rounded corner edges and completely just used the big butterfly die cuts, and it completely covers then the inside message. So it looks like a really, like you think it's going to open like this, and then, well, it's a Z-fold. Another example here. So this is, again, we're just doing, the only two we've shown now is your landscape, and this is your, that was your portrait. This is your landscape style. Also works really well. I love that. I think that's so pretty. And then I'll save that one till the end. What you could also see is you'll see what's called a double Z. See that? So now you've got your one and then the two Z. So that makes it the double Z. What's important if you make this card, once again, you want to make sure your message kind of isn't hanging out. So this style doesn't leave a lot of room for making a message and leaving your love note to your friend. So you want to be sure that you've kind of got that in mind, that it's either behind this panel here, like I did there and half of it, or what a lot of people do is they'll actually put like a pretty note on the back, and that works really well too. So I think that's really pretty. Another example that I did, this is probably, I think, the very first double Z I ever did, my birthday card here, just using different pretty paper. I mean, I did very little. I only stamped probably on this one here and back here. So another example of a double Z. And then here's back to just the single Z, but I'll show you, I've got two of them here. In this one, you can see what I did there? Woo! It's just the one panel, but I've got it angled, and I did pop-ups off of each side of it, so you see them on both sides. So you've got the flowers and the butterflies, but because of the way this folds, I made sure and did a duplicate on the back side. Okay, isn't that cute? Oh, I like that. And this one also, the message is completely covered, so it gives you a little more wiggle room with writing your message, because it's not leaving half of the panel. And then another style here where I didn't leave the back flat. I did the whole thing is angled. Can you see that? So the whole thing coming down. And I also doubled up the butterflies so that they look a little more like they're in flight. I think that's so cute. So this one was really pretty and came together. I'm just really happy with this. This paper is actually just the craft paper. And then I have an embossing folder that looks like a wooden fence. or you know, a tree. And so I embossed it, and then I used a sponge with dark brown ink. It's actually the early espresso if you're on Stamping Up. And I just lightly went over the elevated parts, and it gave it that dimensional look, like a wooden fence. It's really pretty. And then here's another example. This is where it's the Z, but I've also got kind of a tucked panel. So that, I love this. I think this is really pretty. It's just got lots of fold, lots of movement, texture. It's really kind of got it all. I think that's a really pretty card. You can use this with so many different styles, colors, and it's just really fast and easy. That's really pretty. If you've got a paper that you like, that's a great one to do that for. Let's see, which one should I show you next? Oh, so then there's this style. This is similar to one of my recent videos, except I made it into more of a Z-fold. So I've got this ribbon here, and look, see how pretty that is? Comes all the way through there. Isn't that pretty? Oops. So this opens up here, and you've got your place for your message. So, and then the little ribbon just ties, and you can make a bow and seal that up. So really pretty. Oh my gosh, how pretty is this for springtime that's just hopefully coming? Using all your flowers and butterflies. Really bright and pretty in that style. And then I found this interesting one. Look at that. Oh my gosh. So this came together. It's a larger, it's not your usual size paper, because in order to get 1, 2, 3, and then this is 4, 5, all equal. So you've got 5 going one way, and then 1, 2, 3 going this direction. In order to make sure they all matched the same shape, it just became kind of a larger card. So, but still, if you've got, especially if you've got a larger envelope, or if you're not even using an envelope, this comes together really well. And then I did the back also. So this is where my sentiment will go on the back side there, a little more personal note on the back. So another really pretty version of how this card can come together. That's fun. And then, oh my gosh, the last one here. So we got a lot of cards going on. This one is fun because this is a pop-up. If you really like this card, leave me a love note and I will make this in an upcoming video. Ready? Check that out. Oh my gosh, how cute is that with all the trees in there? I love that. So I've seen this done with butterflies, with flowering plants, with flowers, all kinds of different ways. And I've got some tree dies that I used on this beautiful green paper, and just made kind of like what reminds me of a city park. And I used on the bottom here of the second panel for the double Z, I glued down a tulip dies, and in here you can see you've got 1, 2, 3 places plus the front for gluing. I've seen it done with 1, I've seen it done with 3, so I just went for it. See how it came together. Once again, you want to be really careful because of your sentiment and where you're writing. You can see here, I don't have a lot of room here to write, so I'll probably put a note on the back when I actually send this to someone. And you want to be careful with your front image, the die. If you try to copy this, that's great, go for it. I was originally going to do one of these big trees back here up on the front. Let me see if I've got a sample here. I've got an extra die that I haven't used yet, and this may make more sense. Oh, they're sticking together. So here's like part of the tree that covers it to give it the depth. But if I have the tree here, boy, it's really hard to write a sentiment or to see anything. It just gets, you certainly can try it, but just realize how much of your card can be covered with the decoration, which is really pretty, but you also may want it to be, practical, to be able to say, hello, I love you, I miss you, thank you, all those, the reason you're sending the card, your intention. So here's another example, but this actually was not hard at all to put together. This one, the tricky part was really just designing it. Really, what did I want to go where? The actual format was pretty straightforward, just measuring here, having tabs, securing the tabs, and being patient, because it does take a while for all the different glue things to dry. But yeah, really fun. So the card we're going to make today because the Z-Folds, I gotta tell you, all these different styles, I really like them. It's gonna look like this. Now I have this new die that I've been so excited to use. It's from the Grassy Grove collection from Stampin' Up, and it has matching dies. So I've got this woodsy scene here, and then the deer walking through. Oh my gosh. Now this one in particular is pretty dark, so I wanted to brighten it up. This was just kind of my more like, oh, let's practice and see if I like it. Got a little deer on the inside. So cute. I'm gonna make this, but we're gonna brighten it up with a different color panel in the background here, and that'll make it probably look better on film. So, okay. So I've already cut everything. Get everything kind of out of the way. Okay. So to make this card really easy, and we'll talk about, again, protecting the back images so that things don't show when you don't want them to. So this is just your 11 by 4 1/4, just half the paper. And we're going to go ahead and make our fold. So we fold it in the middle. I've already scored it. Just use my bone folder to crease it down nice and tight. And then cut this or fold this in half. And this can go portrait, landscape, doesn't matter. I've got 2 smaller pieces to use as the mat. Okay, just like that. And this isn't the usual size. Usually I just go in by either a 1/4 inch or an 1/8 of an inch. But because of the shape of the die, it's a little longer than it is tall. It isn't exactly proportional, but that's okay. It'll just depend on whatever die you're using. And then the inside, I'm gonna mat where my sentiment goes also, just to keep that pretty, I think this color is called Mary Merlot. And I want it to be exactly behind these 2. So they are one is actually a little larger, look at that. So I'm gonna have the larger one on the outside. Always measure twice so you cut once. Don't like gluing things down and they don't fit. I want this one to be perfectly behind this, okay? And this will be on the inside, so let me make sure that fits since it's a little smaller. Yep, so that's what the inside will look like. And with a card like this, since I am using black, and this is, I use black ink for my deer, I'm not going to indicate at this time whether it's a thank you or miss you or happy birthday. I can save that until it's time because it's just black ink. I don't have to try to figure out which shade of red I used. It's real easy when it's black ink. So I'm just going to do the sentiment later. Okay, so here is the die cut. See how that is? So this is what we did on, or what I did on the previous one, but this time I'm going to brighten it up. So I've got this really pretty paper here. It's like this watercolor trees, and I'm going to glue this behind it. Oh my gosh, doesn't that come together nice? And then I cut out these little deer with the dies, and I'm just going to tuck them inside there. A little bit of something there. So we're going to be gluing those on there. So that's what this card's going to come together as. How easy is this? So, okay. So I've got this. I'm going to set this aside, and we'll just do a little bit of gluing here to get things started. So the first thing I guess I can glue is, I got my little silicone mat, pretty gluey on the back. Because I've been doing a lot of cards, as you saw, all those 10 different styles. Isn't that great? Okay. So let's get some glue on here. If you get a big glob, you just drag it down a little bit so you don't have any oozing going on. And then I'm going to center this, just kind of eyeball where I'm happy with it. Okay, get that out of the way. This one takes a little more patience. So I want to be sure that this is in the right location behind, okay? So as you can see, I don't have a lot of wiggle room, so it's really important that I kind of glue it from behind, if that makes sense. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue on here, just a little bit, because I don't want it to ooze out. It comes right to the edges, so not a lot, just a little bit here. I think this set is so pretty. I knew as soon as I saw it in the catalog, it was the first thing I ordered. It's like, nope, it has to be mine. It's going to be mine. I can use this one. I just saw so much potential with deers and deer, I should say deers. Yeah, deer and tree and butterflies. I just probably have every version that ever comes out. So put that there. And then you want to make sure you got, so this is the bottom where I wanted the darker, okay? And so I'm gonna line this up. Make sure that I can't see any of the light coming through, so it's all covered. So cute. And then I can go ahead and glue that on there. This comes together so fast. Sometimes I feel like what takes the longest is just deciding what to do. It is just making the imagery. So for cards like this, because they do come together so fast, what I found worked best for me was using either a large stamp or a large die cut image, and it really just helped the card come together, which I did for probably most of the ones you saw there. Using those larger ones just helps fill that space and give you the image you want. Comes together fast. So with these two deer, let's get them kind of going here. So for her little, this is my only the second card I've made using this set, and I just so happy with it. I've seen it with other brands, never got it, but this time it just came together. So what I want to do is have the doe in the woods there, looking down on the fawn. So here we go. Just getting a little bit in there to make sure he stays put, but I don't want it to ooze out since it's such a small cut. Okay, and then let's just kind of tuck the little legs into the grass there, and then he's looking up at Mom. Oh my gosh, so cute. So then when you're gluing this on here, get that out of the way for now. Okay, you want to be really careful to only glue on the half that's behind on this panel. So what I have found to work for me is I don't want to accidentally put the glue on this half. And when you've got it upside down, it's kind of easy to do that. So I have been happier putting the glue directly onto here. So let's just do kind of a square. Then I'll smear it a little bit, get a nice and thin coating. And then, so now it looks centered like a framed picture. Okay, so I'm just going to hold this here, and then we'll glue on the inside. And I'll show you how I make sure it doesn't show, you know, outside the top or bottom, because I like that image where it looks like a picture. Okay, so as you can see, when you put in the inside, it certainly can be completely covered, but you've just got to be really careful to align that. And I have been happier when I've glued it going this direction and folding it on top. I've been much happier with the outcome. So guess what? That's what we're going to do. Doesn't this come together fast for such a pretty card? Oh my gosh. So then just line that up. Make sure it's, you know, inside the border there. There we go. Perfect. And then fold this down. And there we go. Didn't that come together fast and easy? Love it. So very happy. So next time you're thinking, hey, I should do a fun card. I want to do a fancy fold. I want to do something different. Think about these Z cards between just your straight, you know, landscape, or you can do this one with the outside card imagery. You've got your big fancy ones with your pop-ups, angled but cut off at the top. You have things popping out the top. You can do your double Z's. You can do a double Z at the bottom or at the center. Either way, there's lots of different designs. Here's another example with the smaller. Again, so easy. I stamped two. I just did 2 little stamps. Just let my paper and dies do the work. And butterfly. Here's one with flowers. Again, here's another with the what they call the tucked Z inside. And then ones with, you know, ribbons on the outside here to hold that Z as a panel card. So lots of things you can do here to bring these Z folds together. Hope you enjoyed today's video and look forward to you on our next card. Looking to bring, where did it go? There it is. Where did my deer go? So hope you enjoyed today's card and we'll see you soon. Bye.